Welcome to the Men of Honor podcast. My name is Corey, your host, and today we're going to be talking about seduction. And seduction is one of the most misunderstood things when it comes to the interactions of sex. And the interactions of sex have evolved over time. So it's not just man and woman; it's also woman and woman, man and man, and there's quite a lot of different ways of interacting sexually. So, with that being said, while we've got more open-mindedness towards sexuality, there's also still a lot of shame associated with sexuality. And while there's some shame with sexuality, it makes the whole seduction process a massive gray area where nobody really knows what they're doing. And quite lately, with the reports of high-profile people being exposed for their sexual exploits, exploiting children, people that have raped a lot of people because of abusing their positions of power. There has been quite a lot of people that have been vocalizing ways of preventing it from happening, and I'm totally against the anything that has to do sexually where somebody is abusing somebody. I'm totally against it. And I stand by the people like the Me Too movement and the people that are feminist as well when it comes to sex, their stance on sex. But there is a point where some view is seduction as sexist. So then because you're male, then, and you express your sexuality, then it's something wrong. And it's becoming more and more of a theme amongst us as human society, that even when you go out, in a club or whatever, and you're talking to a lady and you started seducing her, she would feel in a sense, she would feel like she's acting slutty, so she feels like she doesn't have to behave that way. And some part of it is good that, she wants to protect herself. She doesn't want to give off any vibe in case she might end up getting hurt, because some people might take the wrong impression of it, with some guys, and they might run with it and end up, this is how rapes happen. So she's been conditioned to want to protect herself. But at the same time, most men do not express themselves sexually because they don't want to be put in that bracket of pervert, or if you look at people like Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein. That's weird. They actually rhyme. Those are the people that have been high on the media in terms of people abusing the power and causing so much damage using sex. And these are men of power, and usually, instead of us trying to deal with it as an individual problem of those specific people, we sort of blanket every man to be the same. And to a certain extent, as men, we've got ourselves into a situation where now we live in an age where we've got instant information, instant gratification. So, for instance, when it comes to porn and everything, so whenever we feel any sexual desire, it's easy to play it out and fulfill your sexual desire pretty quickly. And we don't tend to wait, and we don't tend to go through the steps of actually seduction anymore. And there's no need to learn the skill of seduction when you can get sex readily available, whether it be with another human or whether it be just watching virtual women and then busting one out, basically. So what I'm trying to say here is the fact that there is this concept where people are actually ashamed of sex when it comes to a relationship and in a man. And the question that I received recently was, when do I start seducing the woman? And my answer was that if you think that you need to start to seduce your woman before you have sex, you failed, because you're now looking for that moment, and that moment never comes. And whenever you feel like you want to seduce her, you start overthinking it. And the moment you start overthinking it, it now comes off as, you needing something. And this is why it doesn't play out the way you want to play out. And in fact, sometimes you might be actually sort of 50-50 in terms of wanting to do something. But because you've just played off as wanting something, and it's you that wants something, then it doesn't play out the way you want it. The most amazing way of thinking about seduction is that it has to be 50-50. You have to have the ability to show your interest, but also make room for her to now show her interest as well. And that's the key when it comes to seduction in any interaction, whether it's at the starting stages of the interaction with somebody that you don't know, or it's somebody that you've been in a 10-year relationship with. Most guys, they go full on, kiss, grab the bum, they do the whole sequence of, because I've done this, then it should equal to me having sex. But they don't give her room to actually express herself sexually, so she can actually start feeling those feelings as well. And then from there, you build on it. And when I was speaking to this gentleman, I said the best time to actually have start seducing is not a period after the last orgasm. The moment you have the orgasm and you both come to a point of you've connected, that's the point you start seducing for the next time. And it's not like you're seducing for the next time. Your relationship should be able to communicate on multiple levels. You can communicate verbally, you can communicate as husband and wife in terms of running the house, and there should be multiple channels of communication. And that channel of sex and seduction in many cases is switched off, and then at some point switched back on. Now that should always stay on. In fact, it's quite recently we tend to turn off our heating every summer, and then we turn it back on, and it was on a setting where it's on a timer, and then it comes off. And what happens is that because it's so cold, the temperature rapidly drops, and then when it starts up, it takes so long to heat up the house. So we were beginning to feel a little bit cold, and then there's a button where you just press where it says continuously on, and then the thermostat is the one that just controls that temperature. So your relationship has to become, or in fact, you both have to have a thermostat that there's a certain point that you're going to keep your sexual chemistry. This is where we're going to keep it. And you only keep it when you can both start contributing towards the sexual side of things. So you're both involved in the seduction. I think this is the most important part of piece of it, is that most guys feel like they take the burden of responsibility to do this. And because you've taken the burden of responsibility to do this, it nullifies the woman. And that's the reason why she's not interested in having sex with you all the time, because she feels she's not there. So the moment you make time and make space for her, then it's something that you're contributing. So that sexual tension is constantly being amped. And I think this is another thing of another podcast episode where I'll be talking about tension on, tension off. So if you can cultivate having tension on, tension off, then it's now like those peaks and valleys, which makes it a little bit more exciting. So there's different things that you can do in order to make that happen. But when it comes to seduction, the key takeaway today has to be the fact that it's a mutual thing. It's a mutual ritual that you can be performing every single day. That there's certain things that you'll be doing in order to contribute to it. Just like you would in your kitchen, you don't just wash and clean the kitchen once and then that's it. You continuously use it, you cook, and then you clean, and then you prepare food, and then there's just so many things that you do in there, but it's just a consistency. And that's the same things, principles that you need to apply when it comes to seduction. It's not a binary thing where it's a 1 or a 0. It's not a on or off. It's something that you have to just keep consistently, and it's almost like a fire that you continue adding to it, and you add to it with different things. So some playful games, inside jokes, eye contact. Sometimes not saying much, but just being able to maintain eye contact and smile. Those are things that you start cultivating. Expressing that they're really beautiful. If it's a lady and she might not be prepared to say you're handsome because you've never given her that opportunity to say so. And I'm saying she, but your partner, so it could be a male as well. So let's keep that out there. And you have to make room for your partner to seduce you just as much as you are seducing them. The one thing that we do as well is it's a sexual thing for me and my wife. We smell each other on the neck. So when she puts a perfume, I sniff her neck and I just pause and say, wow, you smell amazing. And she does the same. And it just adds to the fire. Now, what's weird is that my kid, she loves the smell of my wife's perfume, so she does the same. So it makes it feel a bit weird, but it's something that I don't mind. I also encourage, because one day she's going to be a partner for somebody, and this is quite helpful for her to actually be able to play games like that. There's nothing sexual towards her, but it's just something that I think is quite important, that she's learning those things. We play fight, we wrestle, we play butt spanking as well. Obviously, this is my kid is not out in these games, but I'm just saying, between me and my wife, these are the sort of games that we play. We've got this spank that we do where it makes a lot of noise, but it doesn't hurt. When it hurts, then you've done it wrong. So it's a game that you do to continuously keep that fire burning. And it's for you, it's probably a paradigm shift, because at this moment you just thought it was something that you turned on and then you turn off, or you turn on and then you have an orgasm and then it turns itself off. Well, it doesn't work like that. You actually keep it on when you escalate it to a certain point, gets to the peak, and the peak is when it gets really hot and then it's really steamy. You both have an amazing time with both orgasm, and then it goes back to that set point. That set point is where you continuously still continuing doing the things that you need to do in order to keep the thing going. So I hope this is helpful. It's not sexist to be seductive. So I think there's a lot of guys that carry shame when it comes to it. They feel like they're being perverts or something like that. And for those ladies that are listening to this, it's something that is not taught by many people, or something that is not taught within schools. Parents don't teach this. I think for me, it's been something that I've learned over time in terms of the interactions I had when I was teaching success with women, or success with dating. So when I was a dating coach, these are the sort of the concepts that started coming apparent to us, that the woman has to be part of the interaction. She has to be the one. She has to take part of the ritual of the seduction. So I want to thank you very much for your time and listening. If you like these podcast episodes, please review them, whatever platform you're listening to them to. And if you've got any questions, get on the Instagram. You can ask me any question that you want. I will answer you through the podcast. I will never mention any of your names. If you want some support from men, go to our Facebook group. It's called Men of Honor. You can join the Facebook group and you can get support from other men as well from there. So thank you very much for listening, guys. And I hope you're having an amazing weekend. Ours has been quite difficult with the passing of my grandmother. But we're all sort of holding in there. We're now celebrating her life, because I think that's what we talked about. That it's for us to heal. It would be better to focus on the amazing things that she did, and celebrate her life and the amazing things that she's done. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope to hear from you guys. Also, just look out for the things that we'll be trying to get out in the next few weeks. So thank you very much, guys. Take it easy.